Nintendo takes center stage and drops a few bombs at E3. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
It's a me,
Dario!
Woohoo! Let's go!
Okay, so this one's gonna be a quickie, and not because there's not a lot of information that came out today, but because I'm gonna go watch Toy Story 4. Yeah, I got invited to a press screening, so I'm gonna go check that out, and apparently there's going to be no press embargo for it. Actually, to be more accurate, there's a press embargo, but it ends tomorrow at 9 a.m., so we're good. So I'll tell you all about my thoughts on it, because I'm a little bit worried. The first three have been really good, and they've gotten better in certain ways, but I thought they wrapped up the series perfectly. I don't know why they're going to keep pushing it forward, but we'll see. I have my concerns, but so far so good. They've done good. Whenever I thought that they're like, maybe they should have stopped, they managed to pull something great out of it. So we'll see. But anyway, okay, so before I get into E3, because today is all Nintendo. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, even though I'm not going to keep it short and sweet. But quick reminder, iHeartRadio app, the show presents Super Dario World. You can find it right there. Also on rock1053.com, the podcast section. And you can find me on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Super Dario World Podcast, right there. Easy peasy. But okay, let's hit it. So the big bombshell so far from E3 had been Keanu Reeves making an appearance down there with everybody presenting Cyberpunk 2077. By the way, I'm sorry, I'm still having a brain aneurysm from all the allergies things from them ripping up the carpet in the building. And it's not just me. Apparently, a lot of people are having the same issue. But okay, so the big bombshell had been Keanu Reeves so far until Nintendo said, hold my beer. Nintendo made the biggest announcement of E3, and I don't see how anybody's going to beat them. So this is just bonkers. They announced that there will be a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. That's right, not a DLC, a sequel. And from what we can tell from the little teaser trailer, we may be able to play it as Zelda for the very first time. So for the very first time, I think, in the franchise, you will be able to use Zelda. Again, they didn't really show any gameplay. It was a slight little tease, but it looked phenomenal. Breath of the Wild has been the best game I've ever played in my life, bar none. It's so complete. I actually have one knock on it, but it's not really a knock. It's just a minor inconvenience. The thing that I don't like about it is that your weapons degrade and you need to get other ones, which makes it difficult. It's a game that's never easy. No matter how powerful you get, no matter how many hours you put into it, no matter how much skills you have, it's always a difficult game. You can never take any villain, lightly. So that's always been fun. And I get that part of, degrading weapons is a part of it. It's just really annoying. But whatever. The game's fantastic. It's the best open world game I've ever played. And like I said, it's the best game I've ever played in my entire life. It's almost perfect. And they announced a sequel for it. So it's supposedly the guys who created this game were inspired greatly in Red Dead Redemption 2, which I'm currently playing, which is phenomenal. So you can understand why I'm a little bit stoked about this. It sounds phenomenal. Can't wait for it. And let me tell you something about the Switch, man. So Nintendo won the battle of this generation, and I mean by far. Sony didn't even show up at E3 this year, by the way. But Sony is looking ahead to the PS5. The Xbox One is looking ahead. Xbox is looking ahead to Project Scarlet, which may not even be an Xbox. It might just be called Scarlet. We don't know. But they're all looking ahead to the future. The Nintendo Switch has so much gas left in the tank. It outsold everybody, I think, as far as numbers go. And every single time they re-release, because they could just release any game they want, and it's still going to be fun because it's going to be portable. They announced actually a couple of those titles. They announced that The Witcher 3 will be coming out for the Switch pretty soon, later this year. They also announced that Alien Isolation will be coming out for the Switch later this year. There's a whole bunch of titles. I'll be going into each and every one of them, well, very quickly, very lightly. But the point here is, it makes the gaming experience so much different. Whenever I have the option of picking, and actually, if you heard yesterday's podcast, I did mention this, a couple of games that they said that they're going to come out for the Switch, I'm getting for the Switch. It doesn't matter if it's for the Xbox. It doesn't matter if it's for the PlayStation 2. PlayStation 4, but it's coming out also for the PlayStation. You get what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter if it's coming out for the other ones too. I'm getting it for the Switch because it's more fun. You can carry it anywhere. You can play it anywhere. It makes it for a different gaming experience, which is so much fun. And like I said, Nintendo hasn't announced even plans of its next generation console because it still knows that the Switch has so much more room left to go. Everybody's announcing things for the future. They're looking ahead. Nintendo is dominating right now and hard. And Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, a sequel to that game, I think if you read a list of the greatest game of all time or do a rankings, 99% of them will mark that game as its number one. 99%. And I'm not exaggerating. Honestly, do yourself a favor. Play that game. It's phenomenal. So, honestly, the future looks really, really bright for Nintendo. And the present looks even brighter. But okay. That's it. They didn't give us enough, but there was enough to get us excited for Legend of Zelda. Let's move on to the other titles. They also announced, they gave us a release date for Fire Emblem Three Houses. Well, not really a release date, but they showed us a little bit of the gameplay. For those of you who haven't played Fire Emblem, but you've played Super Smash Brothers, the characters Marth and Roy, they're from Fire Emblem. Anyway, it's coming out on July 26th of this year, so it's coming out in a little bit, 6 weeks? Around 6 weeks. And one of the things that is very unique about this franchise is it's a thing called permadeath. So it's a turn-based strategy RPG. So you're controlling armies and you're using strategy. It's turn-based RPG. It's kind of complex, and throughout the franchise, they've done a variety of different games. So pretty much that's how it works, in most of them. But the thing that separates it from the rest of the pack is that if one of your characters dies, one of your commanders dies, that you've been playing with through the whole game, you bond with those characters. If they die, they die. They're done. Permadeath never comes back. However, they did a minor change in this one called Divine Pulse. And so, they announced it. And so what it means that is, during a battle, you could kind of travel back in time. So to a move where you think you might be able to maybe rescue one of your characters or maybe save the fight. Now, that sounds, if you know me, I don't like time travel stuff and I think it's bullshit. However, it sounds like they're doing it in a way that's limited and you have to use it strategically, and I think you can only do it once per battle. So I guess it's the same thing as using a checkpoint, but we'll see. Because, I don't know, it's a franchise that I've never really gotten into that much, but this one looks like a must-have. Like, my kid brother loves it. He swears by this franchise. He's super excited for it. And one of the most exciting things is permadeath. So imagine you do one thing and you save one of and your character dies. And you're like, oh, shit, no, I got to go back. And you save that one, but the actions of saving that one ends up killing another one. So I like it. I got to say, I like it. I like this version of time travel. It's interesting. And also consequences, because you can't go back to change what you've already changed. It's fun. Anyway, that's it for Fire Emblem. Pokemon Sword and Shield I talked about, I believe, last week. And again, release date, those are the new Pokemons. The new Pokemon games coming out, which are part of the original RPGs or part of the RPG family. And it's being released on November 15th. They talked a little bit more about Dynamaxing, which is basically one of your Pokemon will turn giant during a battle and it will be more powerful. So they explained that the reason why they created that is since the Switch, you can play it on a big screen. They wanted to show off, Pokemon getting bigger on a big screen. So I thought that was kind of cool. It makes sense. I don't think it's the first time we've seen Pokemon on the big screen, because I remember Pokemon Coliseum. But it's been a while. I think Coliseum was from the N64. So it's been a while since we've seen a Pokemon RPG in the big screen, and they wanted to kind of show that off, I guess. And also, they wanted to do something different from the Mega Evolutions, because not everybody has a Mega Evolution, and you need a special item for the Mega Evolution. Here, it's anybody can Dynamax. Anybody can become giant. So that's pretty cool. They also showed a trailer of 21 minutes of gameplay. It looks really good. Really good. I mentioned this before, that you're just walking around an area, and you can see Pokemon in the distance, and you're like, I'm gonna go get that motherfucker. And so imagine you're walking around, a Tyranitar is walking by. You're like, oh shit, Tyranitar! Anyway, so they showed the gameplay a little bit, and they explained that the weather conditions affect the type of Pokemon that come out. Because let's say if it's raining, you're going to get more water Pokemon. If it's night, you're going to get more dark type Pokemon. So the weather affects everything. And also, it'll affect the battles. So again, let's say it's raining, it'll give a bonus to water attacks, stuff like that. It looks really like it's really thought through. So I don't know. It looks really interesting. I'm really excited. I was going to get it anyway. Now I'm even more excited to get it, especially because it's still coming out this year. They showed a little bit of Luigi's Mansion 3, which comes out September 20th this year. I never played Luigi's Mansion. Not a big, Ghostbusters guy. I like the Ghostbusters movies, but I don't know. I didn't really see the point in a video game for it, especially with Luigi. Okay, I'm saying that wrong. I did like Ghostbusters. I understand the allure of a ghost hunting video game. I'm just not the biggest Luigi guy. You know what I'm saying? Luigi kind of upsets me a little. I don't know why. But that's how I feel. Anyway, moving on, they showed the trailer for Animal Crossing's New Horizons. That comes out March 20th, 2020. For those of you who never played Animal Crossing, neither did I, but I've done my research, and it's pretty much you can create... what they're doing here is that you can create your own community. So if you've ever played, let's say, it's a simplified version of Minecraft, or a way, way, way less violent version of Ark. By the way, Ark is phenomenal. I highly recommend it. So, I don't know. It's not my cup of tea. I don't like those type of games. I like games with a purpose, but a lot of people love them. They're a lot of fun, and it's a beloved franchise. People love Animal Crossing. So, we'll see. They also made an announcement for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. They announced that 2 new characters will be joining the fight. The first one is the hero from the Dragon Quest saga. So the Dragon Quest video games, the main character, the hero, and its different versions, the different versions of the same hero, will be joining the fight this summer. And Banjo-Kazooie, which Banjo-Kazooie looks fucking awesome. Honestly, I'm excited for that one more. The only issue here, the only knock I have, is that you have to pay for them. And if you remember how I feel about DLCs, I think they're fucking bullshit if you have to pay for them. So, I don't know, but I really like Banjo-Kazooie. So, for the moment, I'm not going to get it. But if I play online and if I see that it's a lot of fun or it's really difficult to beat, I might do it. I don't know. Right now, I'm sticking to my principles and I'm not paying for DLCs because fuck you guys, you're just trying to steal more money from me. However, if it's worth it, I might make the donation. You never know. But so far, I'll wait and see. You know what? Better. If any of you guys get it, let me know what you think. All right? Let me know what you think. So, moving on, they showed a trailer, the Black Order trailer for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, which comes out July 19th. If you ever played the Marvel Ultimate Alliance franchise, it's actually a lot of fun. It's really enjoyable. It's pretty simple. If they're going to keep things the same way, you have your team of heroes and you're just going around fighting. So I usually had my original team was I liked using Thor. He was my muscle. I had Scarlet Witch because she had all the magical powers. I had Wolverine. He was my slasher, my slicer. And the other character I switched from time to time, depending on what the mission required, It depends. But usually, I usually tried keeping it something simple like Spider-Man or something. Spider-Man is super versatile. He's very convenient to use anywhere. He fits in anywhere. But okay, so I like that game. It's a lot of fun. It's a simple, fun, just straight up fun. The story looks pretty good this time. Apparently, it's going to be about Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet, and like the title suggests, the Black Order. So you'll be taking on the Black Order, who should have been used more in the movies, I think, at least in Endgame. But they also showed the trailer for Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age, and this is the Definitive Edition. So it's going to be the full fucking game. All the DLCs, all everything, Definitive Edition, there's not going to be anything added. It looks pretty interesting. It's a franchise created by Square Enix, whom I talked about yesterday. They created Final Fantasy, they created Kingdom Hearts. They're the great developers, and it looks pretty interesting. And like I mentioned earlier on this podcast, the main character, the hero, will be featured on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Moving on, they also showed a trailer for Mario and Sonic at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, which looks pretty fun. If you played the original one, it's pretty much a whole bunch of mini games with sports-centered mini games. So kind of like Mario Party, but instead of being party-centered games, they're sports-centered games. So you play everything. So you compete in swimming, horseback riding, boxing, soccer, rock climbing, gymnastics, racing, etc., etc., everything. And it's actually pretty fun. It's pretty straightforward. I'm guessing there's going to be... They didn't show any gameplay with the Joy-Con controllers. Those are the Switch controllers, which I'm guessing is going to be the most interesting part. Because honestly, that's the best part about Mario Party. That's the best part of the Switch in general, how you can use the Joy-Cons. And well, actually, no, the best part is that it's portable. But the thing that makes the experience difference is the Joy-Con. Anyway, the point is, the game looks pretty fun. And also, it's a great drinking game. Like, Nintendo has, or the Mario franchise in general has great drinking games. Mario Kart is a fantastic drinking game. If anybody wants me to tell you how Mario Kart drunk driving works one day, I'll let you know. Just hit me up at Dario the Show on Instagram. I forgot to say that. Also, again, Mario Party, great drinking game. All right, it's great wholesome family fun. That's what I should have said. Anyway, so it looks interesting. It's supposed to be coming out later this year. They also announced that this one was really weird, but it looks phenomenal. Contra Rogue Corps. Now, if any of you ever played the original Nintendo, you might remember a game called Contra. It was phenomenal. It was a 2D platformer. You were pretty much just going around shooting everything, and that's what this one pretty much is, except instead of 2D, it's 3D, and it looks just as ridiculous, or it's trying to get you the same feel, except in only moving, instead of just moving in 2 dimensions, you can move in 3. Looks a lot of fun. It looks a lot of fun. Just if you're looking for a simple, I don't even know if I should call it a shooter. It's really weird. Point is, it looks fun. Just check out the trailer, Contra Rogue Corps, and it's coming out pretty soon. September 24th, 2019. Which, if you're paying attention, most of these games are coming out this year. There's only a few that they're announcing for 2020. But anyway, some of the last games they announced, there's a title called Astral Chain, which comes out on August 30th, 2019. Pretty much demons are attacking this dimension, and you can take control of a demon to help you fight other demons. I think that's a fair assessment. Also, Demon Ex Machina, which is a great name. For those of you who don't know, Deus Ex Machina means the hand of God, pretty much. That's loosely translated, and it's it's used for writing. It's a term used for writing whenever there's godly interference to save a character. So Demon Ex Machina is great. I mean, I'm guessing it means the hand of the devil or the hand of the demon. Anyway, from what I could tell from the trailer, it's giant mechs fighting, which is always fun, shooting, so it's kind of like Gundam. Or actually, when I was seeing the trailer, it reminded me a lot of Zone of Enders. So if you've ever played that game, it looks very similar. Giant robots fighting. It's fun, all right? It's fun, and they're flying around, they're shooting. It looks pretty cool. And finally, Empire of Sin. This one comes out on spring 2020. And basically, you're a mobster in the 1920s Prohibition-era Chicago, and you're trying to take control of the organized crime underbelly. That's it. So those are the big things that came out from Nintendo, and I kept it short. It's not even 20 minutes yet. I'm getting better at this. Thank God. So yeah, so those are the big things from Nintendo. Oh, they also showed a little something about Link's Awakening. They're doing a remake for it. It looks pretty cool. It looks prettier. That's a way of saying it. I think it looks got to be the same game, just prettier. And also they showed something called Cadence of Hyrule, which is kind of like from what I understand, it's a rhythmic-based game of The Legend of Zelda. So it's going to be the characters from The Legend of Zelda that you move. The only way you can move is through a beat. So the characters, all the movements are based on a beat. So if the beat goes doon, 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 that's the only time you can move. Whether it's a slash, whether it's you're actually moving up a spot. It looks pretty interesting, and it looks kind of fun. And it's created by the guys who did Necrodancer, which is a very popular franchise so far, or at least from what I've heard. So there's potential there. And anyway, okay, so now officially that's it. Those are the big titles that were announced by Nintendo. And like I said, the future looks really bright, man, because it's not just the exclusives that are coming out. It's not just the fact that they got the funnest games from pretty much everything. Because let's do a recap. It has the most fun racing game, which is Mario Kart. Mario Kart is by far the funnest racing game out there, bar none. It might not be the best or the most precise or the most accurate, but it's the most fun. You have the most fun playing it. It's ridiculous, and it's fun, and you can play a great drinking game with it. They have the best fighter out there, which is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I don't care what anybody else says. That's the best, most fun fighter out there. They have the best open world RPG, which is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and maybe the greatest game of all time, according to Dario. So they got the best of everything. It's got portability. It's got convenience. It's the fact that it's kind of different. Well, while Sony and Microsoft are focusing on trying to make things look more realistic, Nintendo has been focusing on making things more fun. So, I don't know. To me, the future looks bright. I highly recommend you get a Switch. And this is, I know this sounds like a commercial for the Switch, but I don't care. Honestly, all the great things coming out recently or in the future for the Switch look phenomenal. And a lot of the bigger titles are now well, it sounds weird, but they're now switching to the Switch. Like The Witcher 3 is coming out for the Switch. Come on. Wolfenstein for the Switch. Doom for the Switch. Alien Isolation for the Switch. So, future looks bright, man. Present is also pretty bright, too, because you can get Legend of Zelda and Smash Brothers right now. So, again, highly recommended. Nintendo, so far you're winning E3. Great job. That's a quick reminder. Tomorrow, I'm going to go see Toy Story 4 now. And tomorrow I'll give you a quick recap, spoiler-free review of what my thoughts on the movie were. Were my concerns valid or were they not? Was I pleasantly surprised or was I not? And I'll continue with my breakdown of E3. I don't know what they can come up with tomorrow or, later today. That's going to be bigger than Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but we'll see. I've been surprised before. But anyway, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can reach out at Dario the Show on Instagram. You can always find me there. And as always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again tomorrow.